Hello, I'm April Brown with Zelken Financial Services, and I'm back with a tip. Today's illuminated point. Recently, I read an article titled Super Nerds Unite Against Dave Ramsey. It's 8% Safe Withdrawal Rate Guidance. So the article that centered around some beef between Dave Ramsey and what he calls super nerds. The authors of this article actually refer to themselves as super nerds. So the focus is around David Ramsey's belief that 8% withdrawal rate guide is okay for someone with a stock market portfolio, having like 100% of their money in the stock market. We'll get to that. So there's some disagreement in this article around what a safe withdrawal rate from your stock market portfolio should be. You ask, what is the safe withdrawal rate guide, April? Great question. I'm glad you asked. A safe withdrawal rate guidance is how much you can safely withdraw from your stock market portfolio without running out of money. Yeah, that's right. Running out of money and being broke as hell. So why is this important, you ask? Well, that's a great question. This article hits on some pretty important points, which helps you to understand what safe withdrawal rates for any portfolio is. So there are 4 terms you need to be familiar with to understand why Dave Ramsey and the super nerds, I'm going to get it right, the super nerds are beefing. So terms I will talk about is geometric returns. Basically what that means is what you earn in your investments. Arithmetic returns, simple average. So sequence of return risk is the idea that the order and timing of poor investment returns can impact how long your retirement savings last. So the example is, and I've seen where like they'll like so from 2024, the bad years that we've had, 2008, 2010, a couple of other ones. Well, if you retired in 2008, they would show you that a bad couple of years can inadvertently and adversely affect your money, your retirement money, and how quickly you run out. As opposed to if they switch the numbers and like 2008 happened at the end, and like 2024 happened now when you retired, that kind of thing. So the order and the timing is what you got to understand, and you can actually look it up, but it's pretty interesting. So the last piece that I want to talk about is the 4% rule, which they'll talk about in the article also. So it's a common rule that is applied to your portfolio to help you avoid running out of money in retirement. So you see the common thread here, running out of money. You don't want that to happen. Anyway, so let's talk about what Dave Ramsey says in this article, or what he said in a podcast and they talk about in the article. So what he says is you got to have 100% of your money in the stock market. It's got to be a good mutual fund. And so he talks a little bit about the S&P and a mutual fund and what's kind of the balance and what's good, blah, blah, blah. A mutual fund that is averaging about 12%, that's what he says. You can account for inflation for the last 80 years, which he says is at 4%. Then you need to at least leave 4% in your portfolio to account for inflation. So, which leaves you with about 8% that you can take out of your portfolio. So that's where the 8% is coming from. And so he's perfectly comfortable with you withdrawing down 8% of your portfolio. So if you want to be a bit conservative, he says you can take 7%. Now, the super nerds don't agree with Dave Ramsey's math. They state Dave's math is wrong because they're looking at it from the safe withdrawal rate research. Yeah, so you got the guidelines, now you got the research. And so what the research says is there is a difference between geometric math, you remember what I said, that is what you earn in your investments, and arithmetic math, which is simple average. How a 100% stock portfolio increases is involving the sequence of return risk. So those are the 3 things that they're hitting on and talking about. So some of the logic of earning 12% and withdrawing 8% seems perfectly reasonable based off of the Dave Ramsey math. That's only if stocks always provide a 12% return, which they don't. And we know they don't. The market doesn't consistently stay the same. It bounces around. And when the market bounces around, that's what's known as volatility. And so what is volatility? It's frequency and the magnitude of price movement in the stock market. Zigzag, up, down, up, down, up, down. Yeah. So I call it the zigzag when you're looking at, the stock market. So volatility can do two things to save withdrawal rates. First, it means that the retirement portfolio can fall in value. So when a retiree withdraws a fixed amount from an investment portfolio that has fallen in value, zigzag, mark it down, it chips away at the nest egg that has already suffered a beating. So if you hit negative 20 and you turn around and take out another 8%, that's not great. So now your portfolio is smaller. Less savings means less money that can rise in value when the returns go back up. So secondly, an average 12% return doesn't mean that the portfolio grows at 12% per year. Example. And I'm talking about an example because it's hard to kind of talk this through, but you can go read the article too, but I'm going to have to make sure it's at the bottom so you can see it. But I'm going to walk you through the example. So if you have $1 million invested in the stock market and it falls by 20%, you now have $800,000. If the stock rises by 25% in the next year, you bounce back to $1 million. Now, I know you're saying, April, how the hell did you do that math? I'm going to tell you. The average return of negative 20%, what you lost the first year, and positive 25% is going to actually equal 2.5%. So, you'll see where I'm going. Just stay with me. However, you still only have $1 million. So your actual return is really zero. Why is that? This is the difference between arithmetic returns, 2.5%, and geometric returns, 0%. Investors can't spend arithmetic returns at simple math or a simple average. Investors are subject to geometric returns. So further in the article, the super nerds mentioned the 4% rule and how Dave feels about that research. Dave believes retirees will never save enough money, nor is it realistic based off the 4% rule. And it's really not 4% anymore. It's more like 1.5. So the super nerds are sensitive to this perspective, and they publish various articles saying how you can take a little higher than 4%. However, they do think that Dave is being reckless in his advice to take out 8%. So here are a couple of points that they make also in the article. No one, and I mean no one, should have 100% of their money in the stock market. They advise have some money in bonds. And if you were to draw down from the stock market portfolio, have another source of money if the market should tank, or you have to take out less in your stock market portfolio. That's just some of the kind of condensing this down. So that is the gist of this article. And, just to kind of sum it up, basically the 8% safe withdrawal rate guidance is not a great one. Based off of geometric returns, arithmetic returns, sequence of return risk, and the 4% rule. And what they're saying is that you just really need to be mindful and probably talk to somebody about, what's going to make the most sense for you to do. Because if you're living off the money in your stock market and the market does take a hit, you got to reassess. Because if it's already 20% down, like I said, and then you turn around and take out another 8%, whew, well, that's a bigger hole that you've got to dig yourself out of. And so that is a quick way to run out of money. There is more information in reference to the sequence of risk return. However, that is better read than explained. I'm just going to be honest with you. And so if you can check out the article, I'll also have that. I'll definitely make sure it's at the bottom. However, I hope you got something out of this. I thought it was a pretty interesting article, just, for those people who are in that position and are trying to figure out how much money they want to take out of their portfolios. And I'm April Brown with Zelken Financial Services, LLC. Please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Until the next time, have a great day.